Hello, Miss Hoda. Tell me a little bit about what you do at CI Web Group.
Hi, Jennifer. I'm a web coordinator here. I work with the VIP team, wonderful VIP team, and we handle bigger projects, more like medium to large sizes with HVAC companies and plumbing companies. And we handle 40 projects at a time before they go live and we get assigned new ones.
What would you tell a new company or a company that was getting ready to go through a website project on what they should do mentally, physically to prepare for a website project?
I would say when it comes to like onboarding new employees, focus on people who are more creative so they can come up with the really creative artistic ideas. Also educate them about the services that they are going to like work on, because a lot of time when you're working with different industries, legal, medical, or HVAC, you have to have a little bit of knowledge of what the consumers are looking for exactly. So mixing that, pairing that with the creativity, you can create wonderful, beautiful website, wonderful campaigns that are also bringing a lot of conversion.
So, what's the process look like for a new client of ours that's coming on board and getting ready to start a web project? What would you explain the process is?
So as soon as we have a client that gets passed on from the sales team to us, we have an onboarding call with them and walk them through everything that they sign up for. We want to make sure that we are clear on all the expectation. We want them to understand exactly what they're receiving, what the product is. So we don't want to have any confusion at the end of the day. And we will walk them through the timeline, how long they need to expect in order to receive the product.
What are your thoughts for someone who maybe hasn't figured everything out before they get started on a web project? What should they start thinking about?
There are actually, we have a lot of clients like that they come in and they've been around for such a long time, but they don't have like established branding and they don't have a budget for it. So that's that the onboarding call is kind of going through everything. If you don't have the budget for a branding to get like a complex logo or a mascot or something that is really beautiful, that's still okay. We can use the color scheme. We can use a very simple text logo for you just to put you out there. I would say 100% of the time when I'm talking to client and I'm telling them what makes you stand out, they usually don't know off the bat how they can answer. So I always start with, well, I looked at your reviews. You have wonderful reviews. You've been around since 1961 and you're amazing. What else can I add to this list? And then immediately they're like, okay, so if that's the direction we're taking, now I understand what you're saying. And then they give me like a list of other things. We are insured, we are licensed, we drug test all our technicians. So they give me a huge list and they know why they are the best, but sometimes they don't know that the things that makes them the best are actually their selling point. So we have to guide them a little bit through the onboarding call.
What's a wireframe and navigation?
Okay, so the wireframe, I briefly mentioned that, but I mentioned it differently. That's the vision we try to create for the client. That's the image I create as their web coordinator, as a project manager. I create this whole website with the different layouts. And it doesn't show you how the website will look. It will show you the layouts of the website, the skeleton of the website.
What about header and footer? What are they and why are they so critical?
Top navigation lists out all the pages that we want the users to find. So every time I present or reveal the site to my client, I always hover over them so they can see the drop down of all the pages. And I tell them, see, none of the pages are buried in the sitemap. You can hover and look at all the services that you're providing. So it's very easy for my user to see exactly what services you provide without going into the website and explore everything. It takes 10 seconds for them to see all the services. And then all the main links that we need users to have in order to navigate through the website are on the top navigation. And on the footer, we usually have some of those important links as the quick links, just to make sure that users, they don't need to scroll to go all the way to the top to navigate through the pages. We also have the phone numbers all over on the header, on the footer, throughout the content, which is click to call, the CTA, which is call to action, that's a button that says contact us or reach out to us or book now. The address is always on the footer. If the client prefers to showcase their address, it's always on the footer as well. And it's linked out to their Google business page, which is make it so much easier for the users to go into their address or the reviews. And we also have all the social media badges. hyperlinked in the footer as well. So all the information that the user need to have in order to choose that company should show up on the footer and on the header.
Talk to me a little bit about the different kind of page layouts, and then we'll dive into mobile.
Absolutely, yes. So homepage is your most important page on the website. Most people, they don't even click around to go to the other pages. So every single information that matters and wants to present that selling point and the value should be present on the homepage. I usually make the About Us page important too, just because that talks about the history and the background of our clients. So About Us is the page that we want to highlight who they are, and like anything that makes this website more personable. A lot of times when I talk to my clients, I always tell them, if you're choosing a bio, if you're sending me a bio, mention the things about your children, about your pets, because that's something me as a consumer like to see. If you have a pet, I would hire you because you have one. I have clients that they have bio pages for their cats and dogs, which I absolutely love. And then the other pages, I would say, would be the main pages, main parent pages for the services. For example, if we have a client who does HVAC services, I would say the air conditioning page and the heating page, which are the main pages on the top navigation. Those pages, they need to have a little bit of like a more important layout feeling. So the way I design it, I will create it very similar to homepage and highlight everything. But the services that they fall under air conditioning or plumbing or heating, those are just the content about that designated page. So those pages, they don't need to have a complex layout, just because we have those content for SEO reasons. And the last page I would say that's the important page would be a contact us page for people who use a contact form, obviously, because that page also showcases the Google business page, their address, their phone number, and the contact form for the consumers to use.
How the website is going to perform or look on a mobile site. At what point through the project does that come into play?
Actually, it's one of the major the factors. It starts from the beginning. While we are developing the homepage and all the internal pages, the homepage view is also we are working on that too. The technical factor of it, of course, we do a QA at the end to make sure that everything looks good, but we do quality control the mobile version a little bit later on, while we are working on a desktop, just because desktop is greater, it's so much bigger, and mobile is smaller. But it's one of the major tasks that we start from the beginning.
Talk to me about call to actions, the term learn more throughout the site versus having prominent CTAs.
I personally don't only use learn more if I'm adding a piece of content that needs a little bit more information. I add learn more about that just because it comes with the context. But when it comes to CTA, we want users to know exactly what the next action would be. So if you are clicking on that and that takes that to your contact form, then contact us today. If it's a book now, if you're scheduling right now, then that's a book now. If that hyperlink to the phone number, that is call now. So mention exactly, short and sweet, what step gonna come next after I click on that.
How critical is it that the customer is approving like final disposition of the design before we move into full development?
My motto for approaching my clients and asking for anything is to ask the least amount of things, so not bother them at all, because they're busy. They hired us to do this job and we are the expert in this. So when I do the onboarding call and present that wireframe and then the skeleton and they approve it on the call, I take that as my approval to go into the design and go into the development. And then none of our clients are designers. I would think 99% of them, they have zero design background. So if I send them the design prior to going to development, they don't know what to focus on. It doesn't really matter how many times I tell them, don't focus on the text, focus on this. Doesn't matter. And then sometimes they got hung up on the tiny things that delay the project, delay the development, and doesn't really serve them in the best way. So based on the branding, based on the conversation that we had on the onboarding call, the color scheme, everything, I take it upon myself to design entire things and make sure it looks great, and then send it to the development, and then I reveal it to the client after everything is built out. And usually actually not usually, 100% of time when they look at it, they have minor edits. I've changed this, changed that. It's never, I want to completely redesign the website, because they know the website is pretty and it's bringing in customers. So they don't really need to be focusing on different tiny edits or colors.
What are your thoughts about CI Web Group since you've been on board? The culture, the team, what's your thoughts?
I love every single person. It's definitely very different from the experiences I had before. My past experience is more corporate like. This is more like people are more friendly. We learn a lot of things as we go. And the thing that I absolutely love is the fact that I have a voice here. So if I have an idea, you are open to hear my idea. And I don't think I ever met the CEO in my last company. So this is the first time for me. This is absolutely lovely. And the thing is, something that I love the most is the fact that because the company is growing, I will have a brighter future here in a corporation. It will be more competitor. It would be my ideas will get shut down like more often. So this is a place to learn and grow and hopefully get as big as a corporate company.